Hey everyone, welcome to The Strategy of Everything. My name is Dave Thomas, and this is the initial episode here. I thought I would record a little bit just to kind of explain what the heck this thing is. And so to do that, I'll go back a little bit of a ways. My background is in marketing. I've been marketing for 10, 15 years, and also in innovation and coaching and facilitation. So I've spent time at different startups building marketing teams for them. But I really kind of cut my teeth at Intuit, working on QuickBooks. I was also, an innovation catalyst there. So I was trained in this methodology that Scott Cook developed, who's the founder of Intuit, called Design for Delight. And so there's a whole team of people internally who learn this process and then help use it to solve problems, develop products, do all those kinds of things. And so they're called innovation catalysts. And that's where I really kind of found my passion for innovation and facilitation and trying to think through problems and help people solve them. So another kind of stop along the way that plays into this is I worked at a company called Strategyzer for 4 to 5 years with a guy named Alex Osterwalder, who you may know, he invented the business model Canvas. He wrote business model generation. He invented the value proposition Canvas as well with his book Value Proposition Design. So he's done a lot of design thinking type business books. So spent some time with him, learned a lot, obviously, but again, saw a lot of facilitation and working with teams and understanding how the different dynamics play and what kind of works for one group doesn't work for another, and how do you bring everybody to the same place and help them unlock the potential that they really have for their team and their company. So that's kind of my passion. I'm work a lot at agencies and work with different companies all the time. And one of the things I've done a lot is develop strategies. So I currently am a director of strategy. I work on all kinds of clients all the time, helping develop them business plans, go-to-market strategies, long-term strategies, business models, all those kinds of things. And one day somebody asked me, how do you just come up with the strategy? And quite frankly, I didn't really have a good answer. I don't know. And so, my brain just works in a way that I kind of think of these things and put them on paper, and we can organize them, and then we can move forward. So I actually stopped to think about, what is my brain actually doing? What am I actually thinking through as I'm developing a strategy, and how I'm trying to help these companies kind of grow, right? So it kind of broke down into these 4 different compartments for me. And once I kind of developed these tools to help translate what I was doing in my brain onto paper, I did a little bit more research and found out that, it's not there's no coincidence here. People's brains are designed to work this way. There are different pieces of the brain that, perform these functions on a regular basis. And I thought it was super interesting. So I just kept digging. And so I developed these 4 tools. The first one's called the hierarchy of goals. And what it does is, if you're trying to figure out a new situation, the ultimate thing is to figure out, well, what are we trying to do? What is the goal? What is the ultimate? How do we win? What's the end game? And so the hierarchy of goals helps you then decide what that is, or uncover what that is, and get clarity on what that is, and work all the way down to the tasks. And one of the pain points I've seen over and over and over again is leadership doesn't understand what the day-to-day is doing, and the day-to-day might not be actually doing what the leadership wants it to be doing. And then the day-to-day is often distracted by a million other things. So there's all kinds of byproducts of this. So people come in and say, hey, leadership comes in on a Monday and says, hey, on the weekend, I listened to this podcast. It's the greatest idea I've ever heard. So let's all pivot and do this. Or a client comes and asks for a piece of, a tactic that they're asking the team to just jump in and start doing. And it's not really tied or aligned to those goals. So the hierarchy of goals is designed to help leadership share their vision from the top down, to make sure that all of the tactical stuff is actually aligned, and also help the people who are doing the day-to-day work understand that their work is contributing to the bigger picture, but also give them the ability to push back and prioritize the things that they need to in order to be successful and reach those goals. So it's really an alignment tool. The second piece of developing out the tools with the way my brain was working there was to okay, we know the goal, we know what to do now. What are the rules? What are the constraints? And so what I developed is called the constraints and characters map. And what it does is it helps you, uncover the different constraints that you may be facing. It could be resources. It could be you're holding yourself back. There could be written rules. There's unwritten rules, all these different kinds of things that are going to impact your success. So getting those all out on paper and understanding which ones are going to be the most impactful, right? Which ones are going to hurt our mission the most, which ones might not, and then how flexible are they? So understanding, is this rule something that we have to work around, we can change? And then the characters piece comes in when you start to list out, well, who else is playing? Who else is playing in this game? So you can then map all the rules, all the constraints with the people that you're going to encounter and have to work with or against or around. And so it helps you kind of get a grasp of that, the rules. The third part, once we kind of know the goals, we know the rules of the game, the box we have to play in, the next one is the fun part. That's the ideas, right? That's the risks and opportunities. And so risks, what's going to stop us? What's going to screw up this mission? And opportunities, where can we win? And so I developed the risk and opportunity map to help uncover all of these things. And so that you can then put on a clear piece of paper in front of you and understand, this opportunity has high potential and it's very likely to happen versus this one that's less likely to happen or might not have as big an impact. So all of those different things play into it. Same thing with risk, right? So what you can then do is look at this map of, here's all the things that could go wrong. Here's all the things that could go right. Here's where we kind of think the risks, the level of these risks are, the potential of these opportunities are. Now we can start to pick out the ones we want to put our effort on. So we can start to look at, this risk is going to be, very likely to happen and it's, going to have a big impact. Let's build a strategy of how to achieve it. So we're starting to kind of build this narrative towards our strategy here. And the last part is really understanding how you win the game. So what is your unfair advantage? And I believe everybody has an unfair advantage, something that gives them the ability to win in different situations. Look, LeBron James, he's built like a linebacker and can dunk from the free throw line, right? Like it's not fair. It just is what it is. So he could apply that in whatever way he wants. He didn't have to be a basketball player, but that was where he could actually apply that the best to win. And so everybody has these unfair advantages. So what I've created is this advantage mirror, which is a way to reflect on yourself, to really, because I believe everybody has them and uses them and doesn't necessarily consciously think it through. And so you can use it better. You can use it to your advantage more. So the advantage mirror helps you understand, like, what am I good at? What am I bad at? What are my values? And what are my unique experiences? What have I done that kind of gives me an advantage, gives me something that not everybody has done. And so you can look at that and then start to apply it to the different projects you're working on, the different risks or opportunities. This, my experience here helps me win on this. So you can do that on a individual level. Then you can do it on a group level, and you can really understand, okay, if we all have these different advantages, these different strengths and weaknesses, how do we work them together as a team? How do we put them all together? How do we, what gives us as a collective now an even bigger advantage? So where are our weaknesses? So those 4 things are the tools of the strategy of everything. And you can break down the strategy of anything with it. And to prove that, that's why I'm interviewing all of these people. And so this podcast is really a byproduct of me collecting stories and really breaking down different, people's expertise, using these tools to test them out, to understand, like, can I actually apply this to everything? And so far, it's been yes. I can use these tools to break down, various different things. And what I've learned is that as I dive into things that people are experts in, that I may not have ever stopped to think about, there are business lessons we can learn across the board. And so I'm interviewing people from all different walks of life about their expertise and using these tools to extract lessons and insights that we can then take back to help us be, better marketers, better product managers, better entrepreneurs. So this series of interviews is going to be as ad hoc as you can imagine. I'm booking as many as I can. I'm really just looking to find interesting people to talk about, to learn about what they do. So far, I've interviewed a TV sports broadcaster. I've interviewed Food Network chefs, a beer maker. I've got a couple more in the hopper. So I'm really just trying to find different stories to tell. So it's a little bit more entertaining as well. It's a little bit interesting. You can learn something new. And I really find this concept fascinating, that there are people who have dedicated their entire lives to thinking through something that you've never thought about in your entire life, or never stopped to think about for more than 2 seconds. So, what is the strategy that they need to use to wash, the windows of a skyscraper? It gets done. We see them all the time, but you never stop to think, like, somebody has put a lot of time and effort into thinking about that. And I want to learn, what was that? And can we learn anything from it? So there's strategy all around us. These tools are designed to help simplify strategy, make it a lot easier to recognize strategy and patterns, and create new strategies. And so the concept and my belief here is, if you simplify strategy, you can find strategy in everything, and you can then apply it back to the different things. So this is going to be a bit of a journey. Again, I'm building in public here. The format, please excuse the technical issues. Some of the videos aren't amazing yet. The audio is getting better. I'm working on this stuff. I'm building in public. But one of my biggest challenges in my career, and especially as I look at my, my personal, unfair advantage of looking at my own mirror here, one of the things I'm not good at is I tend to wait until everything's perfect to do it. And so what I'm trying to do here is just start putting shit out there. Done is better than perfect. Get momentum, get stuff going, and learning kind of as we go along. So that is it. I hope you enjoy some of these episodes. Feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can find me, Dave Thomas, or they call me DT. And I look forward to having you along for this journey.